In 1995, hip-hop was 20 years old and learning to speak in full sentences. This was the year when the genre stopped apologizing for itself and started demanding respect. The year when your Walkman became a time machine, when boom bap met melody, and when the streets learned to sing their own gospel. Some tracks stormed the charts. Others whispered their way into your headphones at 2 a.m. and never left. But all of them carved themselves into the DNA of a generation. These are 10 rap songs from 1995 that still hit hard. Number 10, Old Dirty Bastard, Brooklyn Zoo.
Shame with you when you stepped up to the old dirty bastard, Brooklyn.
This wasn't music. This was a man losing his mind in 4/4 time. Brooklyn Zoo erupted from the Wu-Tang Underground like steam from a manhole cover. 3 minutes of controlled chaos that redefined what rap could sound like. ODB didn't perform. He exorcised demons over a beat that lurched and stumbled like a drunk prophet.
My hip-hop drops on your head like rain, and when it rains, it pours.
His delivery was pure stream of consciousness. Part street corner preacher, part mental patient, completely brilliant. While other rappers polished their bars, Dirty sandpapered his soul raw and pressed record. The track never charted, never needed to. It was cult gospel for the underground, proof that the most beautiful art comes from the most broken places. And when that beat hits, you don't just hear Brooklyn, you smell it.
You wanna react? Bring it on back. Same with you.
Number 9, Cool J featuring Boyz Men, Hey Lover.
Hey love.
Before love got complicated, there was Hey Lover. LL Cool J transformed from hip-hop's heavyweight champion into its smoothest romantic, floating over Michael Jackson's Lady in My Life sample like silk over steel. Boyz rapped their harmonies around the track like a warm embrace, creating something that felt like slow dancing in your living room. The song peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100, but its real power lived in quiet moments. Late night drives, first dates, the soundtrack to every what if that kept you awake. This was grown man vulnerability in a genre still learning to admit it had feelings. And 3 decades later, it still sounds like the conversation you wished you'd had the courage to start.
So I'ma keep all these feelings inside. That's right. Keep my dreams alive until the
Number 8, Dr. Dre, Keep Their Heads Ringing.
Keep the heads ringing.
From the Friday soundtrack came West Coast perfection distilled into 3 minutes of pure funk. Keep Their Heads Ringing was Dre at his most hypnotic, a G-funk anthem built to rattle car windows from Compton to Long Beach. The bass line moved like liquid mercury while his vocals floated over the mix with the confidence of a man who'd already won. The track peaked at number 10 on the Billboard Hot 100, but its real chart position was in every lowrider, every barbecue, every moment when California wanted to remind the world it was still here.
1, 2 for the crew, 3, 4 for the dough, 5 for the whole 6.
This wasn't just music. It was a declaration of independence from a coast that refused to whisper when it could roar. Number 7, Method Man featuring Mary J. Blige, I'll Be There For You. Some collaborations happen. This one was destiny. Method Man and Mary J. Blige took Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell's Motown classic and dragged it through Staten Island streets, emerging with something both familiar and revolutionary. The track climbed to number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. But its real achievement was proving hip-hop could do romance without losing its edge. RZA's production wrapped the song in cigarette smoke and streetlight shadows. Mary gave it church. Meth gave it honesty sharp enough to cut glass. This was love from the block, proof that the strongest bonds are forged in the hardest places. And when that beat drops, it still feels like 2 broken souls promising not to break each other.
There are few things that's forever, my lady. We can make war or make babies. Back when
Number 6, Tupac, Dear Mama.
Dear mama.
This wasn't rap. This was a son on his knees praying in public. Dear Mama transformed Tupac from revolutionary to human. 3 minutes of raw confession floating over Joe Sample's warm jazz loop. The track peaked at number 9 on the Billboard Hot 100, but its real power was in making grown men cry in their cars.
Shed tears with my baby sister. Over the years we was poor than other little kids.
Every line was autobiography, every verse a love letter written in the language of struggle. You could hear Afeni Shakur's strength in every bar, feel the weight of a childhood spent watching miracles happen with food stamps and fierce determination. It wasn't polished, it was real. The sound of a man who understood that sometimes the strongest people are the ones who've been broken the most, and 28 years later, it still breaks you and heals you in the same breath. Number 5, Mobb Deep, Shook Ones Part 2. Cold, surgical, unforgettable. Shook Ones. Part 1, The 2, wasn't just a song. It was an X-ray of New York's skeleton, a warning etched in the concrete of Queensbridge projects. The piano loop haunted like footsteps in an empty stairwell, while Prodigy's delivery was precise as a surgeon's scalpel.
We be the infamous, you heard of us. Official Queensbridge murderers, the mob comes equipped for war.
The track never needed radio play to become legendary. It was street gospel, the sound of survival distilled into its purest form. Every bar was live truth, every beat a heartbeat under pressure. This was hip-hop as documentary, proving that the most powerful art comes from the most honest places. And when that piano drops, you don't just hear Queens, you feel it in your chest. Number 4, Luniz featuring Michael Marshall, I Got 5 on It. Few songs captured a vibe this perfectly. I Got 5 on It was laid-back perfection, a Bay Area anthem that turned everyday moments into cinematic gold. That haunting piano sample wrapped around you like Oakland fog, while Michael Marshall's hook floated through the mix like a ghost story you couldn't forget. The track peaked at number 8 on the Billboard Hot 100, but its real achievement was creating the perfect soundtrack for good times and hazy memories. Despite its controversial subject matter, the song's infectious melody and unique vocal delivery made it an instant hit, and when Jordan Peele flipped it into horror for us, a new generation discovered what we'd always known.
That's a classic right there.
This track was timeless, like the best friendships that survive everything. Number 3, Big L, Put It On. This was wordplay as warfare, punchlines as poetry. Big L's Put It On was a lyrical masterclass disguised as a party track, every bar a perfectly crafted weapon wrapped in Kid Capri's infectious hook. The Harlem wordsmith never got to see how far he could have traveled, his story ending too soon in the same streets that made him. But in these 3 minutes, you hear everything he was. Clever, confident, and criminally underrated. A master craftsman building monuments out of metaphors, proving that legends don't need long careers, they need one perfect verse that echoes forever. This wasn't just hip-hop. This was proof that sometimes the brightest stars burn the shortest, but burn the brightest. Number 2, Bone Thugs in Harmony, first of the month. No song celebrated struggle like this one. First of the month was pure joy under pressure, a melodic celebration of payday and hope wrapped in Cleveland's grittiest harmonies. The track peaked at number 1 on the Billboard Hot Rap Songs chart, but its real power was in making survival feel like victory. Bone Thugs melted syllables like summer heat, turning street corner conversations into choir practice. Each verse was a snapshot of lives lived paycheck to paycheck, but rich in spirit and family. This was music for dancing with bills in your pocket and dreams in your heart. And 3 decades later, it still sounds like what hope feels like when it finally arrives. Number 1, Coolio featuring LV, Gangsta's Paradise. If rap had scripture, this would be Psalm 23. Gangsta's Paradise wasn't just a hit, it was a cultural earthquake that sold over 5 million copies and won a Grammy for Best Rap Solo Performance.
And the Grammy goes to Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise.
Built on Stevie Wonder's Pastime Paradise sample, the song begins with a line from Psalm 23, verse 4. As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
As I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I take a look at my life.
Coolio stood at the crossroads of faith and failure, his voice carrying the weight of a generation's mistakes. LV's gospel-soaked chorus lifted the track into something transcendent. Part confession, part prayer, part warning. This was Cinematic Sorrow, an elegy for lost youth that spent 9 weeks at #1 on the Hot 100. It didn't just top charts, it pierced hearts, proving that the most beautiful music sometimes comes from the darkest places. Because sometimes paradise is just another word for the hell we survived, and sometimes survival is its own form of salvation. If you enjoyed this deep dive into hip-hop history, make sure to subscribe, and hey, what year should we cover next? Let us know. And until next time, keep the culture alive.